Hi guys, my name's Khadroth, and today I'm going to be explaining to you Mana Prisms. So I often get a lot of questions here on stream about how to get Mana Prisms and what to use them on, and I'm going to go through all of that here with you guys. So to start out, Mana Prisms are just a currency that you guys are going to be spending in the DaVinci Workshop. Again, they're going to be used to get your account nice things, and there are various ways in which you guys can acquire them, including, as Fandom says here, daily event quests. You're also going to be able to get them from burning 3-star cards and servants. You can get them for burning higher. I don't recommend that though. I would say don't burn higher on your servants. You need to save every single copy, at least up to 5 copies of everything. So don't do it just to try and get access to like rare Mana Prisms or anything like that. But again, yes, you can get Mana Prisms from this process. Same thing with experience cards as well. Yes, you can burn the silvers. I do recommend burning silvers and lower. Over that, I don't recommend. So your golden embers, I don't recommend, because you're going to need them. You're going to need them to progress your account and actually level up your characters. Also, you get the same amount of Mana Prisms from burning a gold ember as you do a silver ember, so it actually works out better for you since silver embers give less experience. So again, you can do that, but that's just up to you. You can also get them from again, burning craft essences and other stuff, but I just don't typically recommend that. Craft essences instead should be combined for making CE bombs, and I have videos on that. And then obviously they can be awarded to you via events and even login bonuses. We occasionally see them given out as parts of campaigns, and then you also get up to 30 a day from just doing again, your sort of daily nodes. So every 3 nodes you do each day, sorry, not every 3, the first 3 nodes you do each day, you will get 10 Mana Prisms for each of those, so up to 30 a day. That's going to mean you get up to about 900 Mana Prisms per month. So it's really, really nice for offsetting the overall monthly cost of the DaVinci Workshop. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about here is basically in the DaVinci Workshop, you guys can buy some really nice stuff. However, there is a portion of the shop that refreshes every month, so what you buy will again be replenished, and there's a portion that's non-replenishable. It's a one-time purchase only. So let's talk about the renewable portion right now. As you guys can see, the big issue that a lot of newer players and free-to-play players have is you have a big crunch on your Mana Prisms. So the question is, what do you buy with them? And just looking at the renewable portion right away here, you guys can see that honestly the first thing to me that you guys need to buy is going to be your tickets. These are gacha currency. You can get it for functionally free as long as you have the Mana Prisms. You can get up to 5 each month, so they're really, really nice in that regard. It's something that I would say, if you get nothing else each month from the Mana Prism shop, this should be the thing. But again, there's still more in here, like the foes. The foes are going to be a nice sort of enhancement status up type card for using on your servants to increase their attack and HP values, and it's really, really good for that. You can't really farm them in any other way, so I highly recommend getting them here. There are other sources of them, but they're not a easily acquirable resource is the one thing I'll say about them, so I do recommend also getting them. From here, the waters get a little bit more muddied. You don't necessarily have to spend your Mana Prisms on this, but I think a lot of veterans will tell you you should be buying out the full shop on a regular basis. However, early on in your account's history, it's not the end of the world if you don't. So next up here, you've got the command code keys. What these are is they're actually an unlock feature that allow you to unlock the cards on each of your individual servants in order to be able to put command codes on them. Command codes just enhance the way the cards perform. They give them extra benefits and extra effects, so they're really, really nice to have on some of your best units. But you don't necessarily have to grab these right at the get-go, and some of them will be given to you for free from events. So it's just up to you to determine whether or not you want to get them, especially since you only get 1 per month of each type, and then you also have a 100 Mana Prism cost attached to them, so they're not that cheap. From there then, and the last thing in the renewable portion of the shop is going to be your embers. JP now has 5-star embers. NA doesn't have it just yet, but again, and actually don't pay attention to the trade limit here. It's actually changed on JP. It's now 10 per, so 10 different stacks. So again, there's a lot of value here for actually being able to get embers without having to farm them, and you can certainly use them to level up your units. But embers are probably the most precarious thing in here because you can just farm more embers, so you don't have to use your Mana Prisms on this. If you're going to let anything go, let the embers go. They're probably going to be the safest, but early on in your account, that's a tough sell because a lot of people are going to want embers for actually leveling up all their units. Again, eventually maybe you end up with all of your units leveled. That's where you'll probably end up in game, but certainly for now, you guys are going to want to gobble all of the embers that you possibly can. But again, that is probably the thing that I would go over and say, hey, you know, I don't have the mana prisms for this. Now, again, there's the non-renewable inventory, and most of these are going to be command codes, but you do actually see that there is, at a certain point, a bond grail added for only the cost of 1 mana prism. So up to you. Again, just remember, these are single purchases only. These do not get replenished, so there's no rush on getting them. They stay here permanently. You can always get them. It's just up to you to determine when you want to actually go into that purchase. And that's a big portion of what this video is going to talk about, is the actual economy of mana prisms and how to know whether or not you're doing good with that. So the other thing that you guys can actually buy in the DaVinci shop is going to be these sort of really sort of meta craft essences. They're nice craft essences that affect your overall account. And to give you guys an example of that, let's look at the Rising Against the Azure Sky CE here. And you guys can see what it gives is friend points gained when using a friend support by 25, which is stackable with other friend point Cs, and then also bond points and master experience gain. So this can be really useful to try and pick up these sorts of craft essences when you actually have a need to grind out bond, master experience, QP, or mystic code experience. Really, really nice to get these, and I highly recommend eventually collecting them all. Though I do get some people that say, hey, maybe some of these aren't worth it. Just keep in mind, if you miss one of these craft essences, they are time limited. They're available for 3 months after their release. And again, you get 4 of them per year. They cost 5,000 each, or sorry, 5,000 total mana prisms in order to MLB them. And you're really going to want to, because as you guys can see, the effects of MLBing are that until you have that 5th copy, you are receiving 20% of the benefit. Once you MLB, you're receiving 100% of the benefit. So you always want to MLB these whenever possible. So it's going to cost you 1,000 mana prisms per copy, but 5,000 in total to MLB. And like I said, you get 4 of these a year. So that's 20,000 mana prisms that you guys are going to need per year just to buy the currently relevant ones. If you don't buy them and you let them expire, they go eventually back into the DaVinci workshop, but they go into the rare prism portion. No, it will not cost you 5,000 rare prisms, so you can rest assured on that, but it will cost you a rare prism, and in order to unlock it, in order to bring it back into the Mana Prism shop. Again, this is another question I get all the time. They are permanent once you re-unlock them, so you have infinite amount of time to then buy the subsequent copies. So that's up to you. Again, there are going to be some craft essences here that you're really going to want to prioritize, particularly some of the original ones like Mona Lisa and again, Chaldea Tea Time here are super fantastic. They are just 10% bonuses to QP and Bond respectively. So you're going to see a lot of people go after those first. They are highly valuable to your account, so I do recommend them. But again, if you're not someone that was around originally to get them, it's going to cost you the 1 rare Mana Prism in order to unlock that. So that is going to be the issue that you'll have. And even from there, just unlocking that just gives you the ability to buy it. So from there, the unlock, it's still going to cost you the 5,000 mana prisms for all 5 copies. So that is the issue. And that's the thing to think about. You're essentially amongst the renewable inventory going to need up to 1,550 mana prisms per month just to get all the renewables. And then on top of that, you're going to then need also your 5,000 mana prisms every 3 months in order to buy the new craft essence before it goes away. So this becomes a really hairy thing as people need a lot of mana prisms over time. And I'm going to talk with you guys about that. Remember, I did say you guys can actually get them from events, and you guys can see here that just taking 2023, for example, you guys actually can get about 12,000 mana prisms just from doing events. So that's a really, really nice offset, but that's not going to cover everything. So the way I've chosen to tell you guys is, if you really want to think about this from the grand scheme of things, is that yes, you will get more mana prisms from stuff like lottos. You can get up to 45 basically per box in a lotto. That's where a lot of people make this up. That's where a lot of people begin to get enough. And so we're going to talk about this right here and say, like, look, so the way to think about it is, if you're needing 1550 per month in order to actually just grab everything out of the renewable portion, and you times that by 12 months, that's 1860 you would need per year. But we don't necessarily have to do that, because if you're an active player and you're playing every day and spending down your AP, instead, remember, you get those 30 mana prisms a day, or 900 roughly mana prisms per month. So we can actually back that out. And now you're looking at only 650 per month that you would actually need in addition to any other source, right? But that's just the renewable. So if we multiply that by 12, that now means we need 7,800 mana prisms per year. From there, if we add in just the 20,000 for the 4 different craft essences that'll come out each year, now you're staring at 27,800. So, okay, that looks still pretty hairy. What do I do? You know, well, remember, let's just ballpark using 2023's number, and let's back out 12,000 of that. So now you're staring at 15,800. You're staring at something around, you know, 16,000 here, basically. And the way to think about this is essentially, if we take that 15,800 and we divide by 45, that's the amount you get per lotto box. That right there would mean you'd need 350 lotto boxes in a year. Now, again, that's 350 lotto boxes across 2 lottos. So you're still, well, that does seem like a daunting number. That's really not too bad there. You can actually just say, hey, look, I've got 175 I've got to do per lotto. I often tell people they need to do 100 boxes in a lotto just to kind of move their account forward. It's a really, really good minimal value for a lot of people. And you'll see people that'll do far less. You'll see people that'll do 20. So don't feel bad if you don't have the time or the capability to do more in a lotto. Just understand that the reason I'm coming down to this number is to give you guys an idea of how many mana prisms you need and how many boxes you might need to farm in order to keep pace. This is just the amount of mana prisms you might need in order to subsist, in order to break even throughout the year. Any amount less than that, like 15,800 that we were talking about earlier, any amount less than that means you're no longer subsisting, you're falling behind. Any amount more than this is an amount that can be spent towards progressing and catching back up to where, you know, everybody else is if you're starting from behind. So it's a good idea to be aware of how many mana prisms you're generating. It's a good idea to be aware of how many you need. Even if you don't want to buy everything, it's pretty easy to do the math and figure it out. But I just wanted to give you guys a perspective of, hey, if you do everything, if you go after everything, this is the amount you need to break even. And anything more than this allows you to catch up. Anything less than this keeps you falling behind. So again, I hope that was helpful to you. I hope this helped explain mana prisms for you, as well as the sources, as well as what you're going to use them on, as well as what you're going to want to buy with them. And again, give you some perspective as to how farming kind of works in the game and how much you can get. Remember, there are other sources of mana prisms. You don't have to get them all remaining from a lotto, right? So you guys will get some from campaigns. You guys will get some from burning. Just keep in mind that can offset that number. So it may be as low as like 100 per lotto instead of 175. Just keep that in mind and try to keep pushing forward. Save yourself those rare prisms from letting those craft essences lap if you can. And again, try to make sure that you guys are moving ahead and actually getting stuff out of the Mana Prism shop, out of the Da Vinci workshop. And that'll help you. Again, I hope you guys found this one informative, and I will see you guys for the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.